I am Arun Alexander, and I lead the Anti-Racism Interfaith Intercultural Forum for East Central Ontario Regional Council. On this Pentecost weekend, when God's Holy Spirit was experienced in a new way, I welcome each one of you to Flames of Joy and Justice. We appreciate your decision to spend time with us on an important topic and trust that this will be a meaningful experience for you. For our courtesies, I would like to thank Reverend Lionel Catola and Reverend Stephen Loweth for the design and beauty of our Flames of Joy and Justice poster. We have received many wonderful comments on the poster, so thank you very much. To our incredible Anti-Racism Interfaith Intercultural Forum, thank you. The Reverend Megan King, Reverend Wendy Bulla, Reverend Lionel Catola, along with our staff person, Sharon Hull, and Communications Officer, Karen Wilson. Thank you to Reverend Rodney Smith Merkley, Minister of the Indigenous Justice and Respectful Relations Forum, for partnering with our forum today. To the Reverend Alan Boyd, leading in worship, and our theological reflector this morning. In addition, we thank Lorenzo Waitung for his presence with us and what will shortly take place, the presentation of a wonderful portrait of his father, Elder Murray Waitung. We have fond memories of him, Lorenzo. I now call upon Reverend Rodney Smith Merkley for the land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Miigwech Aruna. I feel the winds of God today, the breath of the Creator across the lands and waters of the Michi-Saugig Anishinaabe. And I'm grateful that Lorenzo is with us to remember his father, Murray, who was a United Church minister, father of 13, last surviving veteran of the Second World War in Curve Lake, who's a brother to Dixie Bun Schilling, and we just launched a bursary in her memory, started the first daycare in an Indigenous community across Turtle Island. And Lorenzo's was with us when we used to meet in person at Cambridge Street Church, and it's good to have him here again today to offer teaching around this portrait that Aruna and her forum said we'd like to see photos of revered Indigenous leaders, in our churches. And so the portrait is being completed and will be presented to the Mark Street Church in Peterborough on June 24th. But Lorenzo, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. It's quite an honor to be here and have this responsibility to discuss my father and put forth an image that has already been characterized in your minds if you have met him or encountered him. Murray was the father of 13 children, of which I am number 7, right in the middle. From that position, I had the opportunity to watch and listen. And I watched my father, Murray Waitung, Gilliat Magazine. He was born of affluence, and he lived in affluence till after the war. And then things changed. Well, he was gone. The affluence wasn't there anymore for him as much as it had been. But he carried on just the same, with the same pride, with the same initiative, and the same exertion as he would have if he was affluent. The birch tree is a tree that helps the people so much. I picked the birch bark for the background because Murray Wheaton helped as much as he could, and he gave like the birch tree. If you needed his skin, he would have taken it off and given it to you for you to use till you were comfortable. He often supported many people in their weak times and their strong times as well. But Murray took on the job of raising 13 children and all their friends with gusto. My father never ever used corporal punishment on us. He used words and kind words. And he wanted to change things in a big way. But I think his design and his art of doing things, he did it on an individual level that reached many. Because when he touched the heart of a person, that person would go and touch other hearts. And that's the way he lived. He would touch you with his good heart, and he would try to inspire your good heart. And I think those are the words that I have to say about Murray Wheaton. You have your own words in your head where you have met him or seen or heard of him. Believe it all. He is a good man. Miigwech. Are there any questions?
Miigwech, Lorenzo. Lorenzo's been called upon to open up a community meeting in Curve Lake today where candidates for chief and council will be sharing their vision for the community. So we hold you in our thoughts and prayers as you go, Lorenzo. We recognize the service of your daughter, Emily, over these past 3 years, and offer her our blessing too for the good work she's done and in the next part of her journey. And again, thank you so much, Miigwech.
I'd like to part saying that this being called upon is a great honor. Being called upon by you to do this, to help perpetuate the image my father created of himself in the likeness of goodness. And so I leave you with the words to say thank you for all that you consider when you take on a project like this. And more strength to you. Miigwech.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you very much for your presence with us this morning. We're certainly blessed with the memories of your father. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Now to our forum's journey. The Anti-Racism Intercultural Interfaith Forum has shared an incredible journey during the last year, and as a result of that, we have made a impact on both church, and society. And some of our incredible members will now share what was done during 21 and 22 thus far.
It seems a little awe-inspiring for myself when I look back on the list of items that we have before us that our forum has undertaken in what in retrospect are 2 very short years. And so it's really amazing the things that we've been able to take on in that time for our community and our church. Back in April of 2021, just barely over a year ago, we had our church and community leadership event with the chief of police in Belleville, and that was both in person and on Zoom, I believe. Very, very well attended event. We followed that in December of the same year, also in Belleville, a leadership summit with the church and community institutional leaders on anti-racism. I was privileged to be a part of that table presentation, and it really was incredible to see the different facets of community come together. I had no idea so much work on anti-racism was being done through our educational and political systems, and also to hear firsthand accounts of why that work was so necessary. It was a real privilege to be able to take part in those 2 events.
We also created an implementation plan for the eCore's anti-racism policy. Much of that plan has to do with education, and this event today is part of that implementation plan. And we also submitted a proposal. If you were at the regional meeting in the spring, our proposal came forward, and it related to anti-racism training for leaders at all level of governance and all the committees of the local communities of faith.
And in February of 2022, we facilitated an online event. It was a training event on unconscious bias and microaggressions through the anti-racism lens. And it was intended for members of our eCork region and ministry personnel and leaders and people in leadership positions in congregations. And that was very well attended. And then, of course, today, we're excited about what is being offered today, our celebration for the Pentecost weekend of our anti-racism policy and the implementation plan, which were passed.
Thank you, Reverend Megan, Reverend Lionel, and Reverend Wendy. And the final 2 events that I would like to share with you is that in March of 2022, we were invited by Kingsview United Church in Oshawa to represent the forum on their affirming panel. And that was a good experience for us and helped that particular congregation towards a vote on becoming an affirming institution. And finally, we had sent out a survey to congregations in our region, and preliminary analysis of our survey results from 52 congregations show requests for anti-racism, working on anti-racism and what the skills might be, asking for training in those skills, asking for education on various cultures and religions, requesting dialogue sessions, and also asking for visual and print resources. That, I think, will give you a solid idea of our work thus far. Thank you, team. Wonderful working with you and with Sharon and Karen. Thank you. And we now move to our presentation of a gift to Mark Street United Church in Peterborough. Very pleased to have with us the chair of the board for Mark Street United Church, Peterborough, Carolyn Holmes. And Carolyn, on behalf of our forum, we present to you this particular portrait of the Honorable Murray Sinclair. We do this for the impact that you, in your congregation, through the leadership of Reverend Alan Boyd, have focused on issues of anti-racism in church and community. This, apparently, I am told by the photographer, that this is a favorite picture of the Honorable Murray Sinclair. And so this is one that we are presenting to you. The Honorable Murray Sinclair is the 15th Chancellor of Queen's University. He was recently invested as a Companion of the Order of Canada. As we know, the Order of Canada is one of the country's highest distinctions for those who have made exceptional contributions to Canadian society. His work on the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was and is an example of moral and transformative leadership that will undoubtedly serve as an inspiration to us all. And so, Carolyn, we present this to you until we can meet in person, present it to you as chair of the board, Mark Street United Church, Peterborough. And if you'd like to say a few words, please do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Aruna. And on behalf of all the members of Mark Street United Church, I say how impressed we are that you would do this for us. We have prepared a wall to hang these photographs or portraits, and it is in our foyer for all to see, all who enter our place of worship. And thank you so much, and I look forward to having it on our wall and seeing you there, Aruna. Thank you.
You're very welcome, very welcome. It's important for us as Canadians in our churches to highlight contributions by various leaders, and this one, the Honorable Murray Sinclair, well, deserves our attention. So thank you for accepting it.
Thank you.